funny, I'm watching Boston on the stage as the walkout's coming out, and like Fusions is clapping along like, with the music.
Colourhex is loving it.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
they're
Kiwi.
loving it.
He's from New Zealander, so he's used to getting booed, especially by people in that vicinity of the world.
Yeah, but I still think there's a lot of pressure on Boston, right? You come in here, hostile environment, first game of the season. A lot of these players, first time playing in the Overwatch League together on the stage. It's a lot to overcome.
Matt, feels like they're used to it. A lot of the games in the LA arena were pretty similar as well. Very hostile crowds out there. The first map of this series, in case you didn't guess, it is going to be Oasis. It is Control, and it is a potential trap map for New York after what we saw yesterday. If you're a hometown fan, look for Who Are You to lock it down here on the main. We may see a mix-up. I'd love the Ryan and the Wrecking Ball composition, if we were so lucky.
So, over the first few days here of the Overwatch League, we've been seeing a lot of double main tank setups, whether it be, the Orisa with the Reinhardt and then some D.Va play as well. But as the gate's open, it'll be Hotba switching over to D.Va, and you're going to have JJoNak playing the Ana here. Saebyeolbe will come out playing McCree. Boston, an interesting setup. So they go with a dive composition. You're going to have the Wrecking Ball with the Winston. So back to the traditional dive Wrecking Ball, not even in the game at that moment. So now you have a new age look at it.
Now, New York are going to look to play a bit more reactively here. Boston don't have a lot of stopping power, but they are able to burst targets down very quickly if they can access them. Colourhex will work from the fringes while he can to try and build up that EMP. But New York, in theory, should be able to move comfortably onto the point. Flashbang in mid-air. Axiom couldn't drop down. Then he's frozen up. Every form of CC's been leveraged at him, and he's headed out to play in traffic before he returns.
They have to get pressure onto Saebyeolbe. If you allow the McCree to just take shots at range, start working these tanks down. The issue is Boston starts to dive in. You have the May there for the freeze, but be 2 kills that go in favor of Boston early on.
Saebyeolbe knocked out of position. Swimmer there, a part of getting him out of the core of that lineup, and no one was able to capture the point during that fight. So Boston wait for New York to set up, then they pounce.
And here on Oasis, it's very difficult to get the point back. This point is so open, you can just kind of contest it for so long, just having players trickle in. You could see Boston build up a ton of percentage here. Let's see how they decide to play this on the defensive end. Their composition's a little bit geared towards being more aggressive, so let's see how they decide to start the fight.
They can counter-engage, though. They can give ground to New York and then use that dive to pretty much treat it like they're still the attackers.
Just kind of kite around the point, right? Winston like very mobile, same with Wrecking Ball.
Okay, so Wall comes up and actually keeps a lot of them out of the way, but Munchkin's down. Who Are You gets him early, flashbang. He's going to catch it on Artemo. Swimmer, should I say, and it's Colourhex gets involved. Saebyeolbe falls early again. This one's breaking down into a bit of a messy one. It's a 3v3, though. But NYXL, as we said, have the staying power. Wrecking Ball, Minefield dropped out. Who Are You very quickly gets out of the way. A lot of those very fast-paced heroes from Boston have already gotten back to the point there.
And they never actually deal with the Wrecking Ball, right? Wrecking Ball can live for so long, the adaptive shields, the mobility, and Axiom just kind of rolling around on the point there. Then drops down a Minefield, takes out the Lucio Animo for NYXL. NYXL has to back up at that point. Reset. So Munchkin, see here? Sitting in a bush, waiting for the push to come down. He's going to try and get into the back line here, get a pick off with this pulse bomb.
Maybe a force and early ice block tried to go in there for JJoNak. Couldn't find a connection. Sound barrier was still forced regardless. Mano and Hotba got hit by that EMP, but Hotba's still able to find a kill early on, and that's quite a pose there from Fusions, but he was frozen solid. Self-destruct. Hotba just going to refresh the mech here. 84% for Boston, though. New York do need to clear them off the point properly here and fast.
Yeah, Mano comes back on Winston, and then Saebyeolbe on the Tracer as you finally deal with the Wrecking Ball, the character that's giving you so many problems on the point. You deal with Fusions as well, so those are the 2 big mobile tanks out of the equation. The point will go in favor of NYXL.
Saebyeolbe now back to the Tracer, definitely a pick he's much more well known for. Some switches here for Boston, Matt.
Yeah, good adjustments here for Boston. So now that they see New York come out with this dive composition, who wants to be very aggressive, with the Winston and the D.Va in terms of tanks, they switch to a much more, point-oriented control, right? With the double shields, 2 main tanks, lots of health between the Orisa and the Reinhardt, and then you can just kind of protect Colourhex. Well, you may not be able to protect him from that, but the idea is to let Colourhex get set up on the McCree, and you protect him with the May.
This is actually a very New York composition map from last season and seasons past in general. Boston trying to go for one of their looks, but they lose the main source of damage early. Won't somebody look at Saebyeolbe? Chase down on Myunbong. Mano connects. That's a Moira pancake.
Colorhex, he is on Tracer as soon as he saw Mano and Saebyeolbe coming towards the spawn. He blinked all the way back. He'll be going back onto McCree. So that tells you, especially with the changeover to Baptiste, right? Now you can set up that immortality field. You're going to have a changeover to Ana. So you can actually still play around the same type of style I was talking about before. You can set up around this McCree, try and have the dive come in and then blow up some of these targets with that flashbang and then maybe a fan the hammer.
Ngon goes for a sleep dart. Forced back there. A lot of cleave damage from Mano, but he's frozen. He tried to primal rage. He was burst down early in the fight, though. Boston will move fairly ponderously towards the point while trying to wrap the McCree around the left-hand side. And Huayua is going down. This is not good news for New York. They can't afford to give this point back at all, but they may not have a choice. Munchkin has a blizzard. Even if they step up and try and challenge him here, it could be dangerous for NYXL. They've got to go now at 99%. Here's your overtime.
Hotba does have a self-destruct, gonna come over the top. Let's see what he can get with it. It gets up blocked there by Axiom.
Big expectations for that one, but it fizzles. He'll at least get a reset on the mech. He'll need that extra health in the fight to come. That's the stick. Hotba finds the kill on Colorhex, and this is what they were looking for. Huayua taken down by Axiom, but it was a suicidal charge. And Munchkin comes out very sheepishly of his ice block. Faces his demise. NYXL now in control, and there's a chance for Boston to stall this one out, but they have to be fast. Shoes on the other foot now, Matt.
And you're gonna have a touch here from Boston. Swimmer gets on the point. He gets taken out immediately. Fusion's now on the wrecking ball. Get back.
He tried to pile drive, but he got interrupted. Taken down by Hotba. Saebyeolbe now is free to harass the backside. There's no peel left for Boston. Munchkin can barely step foot on the point. It has to be a nano boost for Axiom now to keep at least someone there, but he's sleeping on the job. The Reinhardt can't get involved in the fight. Axiom had to sit and watch the entire time, and eventually he's cut down. NYXL, they retake control. Fusion's just trying to stay alive now. It is a game of stall, but Saebyeolbe is almost as fleet of foot as the hamster. Swimmer's cut down. Pulse pistols akimbo, and Saebyeolbe combining with Mano to clean them up.
That'll be round one to NYXL. Comes down to the wire. If Boston, they get up to 99. New York opens it up. It's a self-destruct over the top by Hotba, kind of forces the positioning over towards the jump pad staircase. And that's when Saebyeolbe hits that pulse bomb. They have to use a sound barrier to keep players alive, but still just enough damage to be able to give themselves an advantage, New York, to push on through.
Slightly different look to what you might expect from Huayua if you've sort of seen a lot of his montages in the past. As May, he's much more trying to provide that utility than he is trying to secure final blows. That responsibility falls on Hotbar and Saebyeolbe much of the time.
Pharah Mercy, whenever you see Pharah, you're going to see Mercy out there for Boston. You're going to go with Wrecking Ball Orisa, which is really interesting. The Orisa here probably just to get point control and just some kind of pressure on the point. You'd have no kind of standing power on the point if you didn't have the Orisa, and because of the high ground, if they're going to run the McCree, you would have played some of those dive heroes. If they get knocked down with whether it be a Lucio Boop or whatnot, they would have been just sitting ducks for Saebyeolbe on the point. So you get the Orisa on the point behind the shield, you play around that. Some poke damage here from the Pharah, trying to deter New York from getting on the point.
Yeah, New York have much more presence on the ground. It's up to Colorhex to really open this fight up early on, but it's Axiom taking the brunt of the early damage trades. He will retreat behind Fusions. His barrier now, and Mano gets a bite grenade from JJoNak. Keeps him in the fight.
I mean, you get a hack on Mano. That's about Saebyeolbe taking out the Pharah in the sky. It'll get rezzed on up, but still, he might be able to create enough pressure off of this.
Dangerous. He does see Colorhex take back to the skies, though, when he needs to shift his focus away from the Baptiste he was trying to cut down. Colorhex playing extremely safe. You see Saebyeolbe, by the way, nano boosted. You'll have to see it. Mano takes down Munchkin, so he gets the charge. Very aggressive switch from Mano, but Colorhex is still looking for some action. He gets rid of JJoNak, but he'd already deployed the biter grenade. And that was Hotbar blocking that rocket.
But JJoNak is a lot of the healing for NYXL on the Ana Lucio combination, so can you just window players down their health bars with the Pharah from range and be able to take it back? As Colorhex above the NYXL right now with that rocket barrage.
Barrage in, Colorhex trying to cut any entrance to this high level away. Ice block had to immediately be used by Huayua to avoid the barrage. D-suited Diva here. Hex doesn't quite chase that one up though. He's looking elsewhere over the map. Blizzard, Axiom is the only one caught inside of it, but it didn't last long enough to freeze him. He got hacked there. Removed from the fight. Mano just hiding behind that barrier, somehow staying alive.
And New York can invest into this, Mitch, because it's 55% and counting for them on the point. They have the sound barrier here to use to push on forward. Mano comes back on the Winston, gets 3, Saebyeolbe with a cleanup on the fusions. And after that really prolonged first fight, New York gets that first fight win and 70%.
See how that one went down again from Mano's perspective after switching off of the Reinhardt, and again, he was the one to pull the trigger and go forward. Boston were not ready for it at all.
You're Boston, you're almost you have to use ultimates here. That is a cheeky spot there as Boston, they panic, they back up a bit.
Oh, Munchkin! Not a snowball's chance in hell there. It's a 1-for-1 trade though. Mano went in and it was a fantastic immortality field from Yunbong, otherwise that would have been 6 players immediately dispatched by the body grenade and follow up. 99% though, Boston have the touch, Swimmer gets there, but only for a brief time. Axia moves up to the point, it was a hold to pull Saebyeolbe out into line of sight. Overtime is getting low though, and Boston now need to fully commit to the point. Immortality field, look in the back, that's already been used here just to keep the supports alive. It can't be used now for Hex, who may need it more. JJoNak.
It's going to be difficult to take this back now without Mano in play. You see how low the players on NYXL are getting. Hex on the high ground on McCree. Don't really have anything to answer this at this moment in time. So Boston in the clutch will be able to flip it back in their favor in terms of ultimates. What they got to work with, they'll probably have a sound barrier in the next fight, and then they have that Deadeye. So see where they try and position Hex. If they want to go towards that high ground, use it just to buy some time.
You're dealing with Reinhardt Shield, Defense Matrix, and NYXL, who will probably try and position low ground here or take the high for themselves. Not a lot of sight lines for a big Deadeye. Munchkin scouting, sees Mano and crew come up, and Boston give this high ground away. Remember, New York have a McCree as well, so we can make much use of this height advantage, but Munchkin's looking for a pulse bomb assassination. Axiom's down already. That's going to be tough for Munchkin now. There's the sound barrier in play, and Saebyeolbe's clinking heads. Self-destruct, Saebyeolbe's able to dodge it, gets around the pillar. Munchkin just has to get their heck out, 99%. Remember that, NYXL already had it in the bag. Now it's going to be stalled. Munchkin and Swimmer have to keep this game alive, and New York is setting up. They're expecting another full fight based off this stall. Here comes a wrecking ball. Fusion's onto the high ground though, and Swimmer's taken down. He stayed alive for quite some time, and Munchkin walks straight into Saebyeolbe's sights. Deadeye finds a kill, and he follows up with an assist on Fusions. Immortality field, that won't last long, and Axiom is lost at sea. Not even Swimmer can save him.
Much cleaner map 1 today from NYXL than yesterday. Once they were able to get the high ground, the biggest thing for New York about getting control of that high ground, forcing Boston down, they were able to get a much better use of their nano boost. If Boston would have held that high ground, it would have been a really difficult spot. They could have kited all that damage from Saebyeolbe. But as soon as they give up the high ground, they nano Saebyeolbe, they use a Blizzard, they push him on in with the McCree. Saebyeolbe put down a ton of damage, but flips the point to New York at the end.
Big variety from Mano, especially in that main tank role. New York showing us some different looks. We'll see what map 2 looks like just around the corner.
Double.
Makes a ton of sense being in the lineup all the time. Saebyeolbe and Mano for me are like the rocks of this team, right? JJonak's the MVP, the explosive Zenyatta player, flex support, but you know, in the crunch time, you want to see Mano in there, you want to see Saebyeolbe in there, and especially when you can get them on like the Winston Tracer combination together, they start putting in that work.
I think Yunbong also looked quite good for Boston, Matt.
Yeah.
He really saved their bacon when they got 6-man biotic grenaded by JJoNak. Playing, we start to see this a little bit. I think we saw a fair bit from San Francisco. Like Violet would like to play aggressively forward on Ana and get these big bio-nades. Now it is risky because Ana doesn't have a lot of mobility. If she gets caught out.
San Francisco could play however they want. I mean, they were that good last year.
But again, the kind of aggressive play can backfire if you do get caught. Didn't happen that time, and we're heading now over towards our second map, which is it's going to be a hybrid map here. And the NYXL look pretty calm and collected here. I'd say with Saebyeolbe rallying the troops, Matt, they're feeling very much at home.
And Who Are You comes into the lineup. We haven't really talked about him, but how explosive he can be on heroes like Doomfist.
That's
like
right.
We saw some Genji yesterday, but I think he comes in is kind of look at how like Libero was for NYXL, comes in with the same type of like hero pool, maybe just a little bit more explosive player.
Well, look,
Libero, like more like highlight type, like big play.
So fun fact for you, Libero is actually a position of volleyball, the person who defends or tries to return the ball. I've been watching volleyball anime lately, Matt. It's been good. That's how I know that.
Volleyball anime.
That's right, the Libero is the defender, so...
You can tell the off-season is long when you start watching volleyball anime.
You can just look at my beard and tell that, bro. All right, NYXL.
Your shirt's inspired by volleyball anime as well, I assume.
I don't know how I got approved, bro, but 2020, man. It's a mood. Out the doors come the Boston Uprising.
I'm going to have a talk with our wardrobe bag.
I love it, bro.
Both teams bust out the May McCree setup. JJoNak on defense going to be playing the Ana, so he can actually see the positioning he's playing down by the point, gives him an angle for potentially like a sleep dart or biotic grenade as they come on in, and then also Ana being able to heal at range, able to heal those players up on the high ground. But now you're going to position him towards the back of the point here, give him those good sight lines.
Again, there is May in play for both teams here, so expect plenty of walls. Fusion's got slapped, and that's a 3-player bio.
But JJoNak almost pays the price for doing it. I mean,
but that's the downside to this sort of aggressive style, going for the big nades, man.
And he has to be careful, though. I mean, ColorHex, as soon as he sees JJoNak up on that high ground, or they're not being protected by the shield, going for those really aggressive biotic grenades, he's going to try and put pressure on him with McCree.
Deadeye on the way for ColorHex, not so much for Saebyeolbe here. Boston slowly encroach here towards the point. They do have the Orisa to play around. They have a lot of shielding between Fusions and Axiom, but NYXL from the top rope. Mano wants to get involved in the fight. He's nano boosted, and Boston trying to back up. Great sleep dart connection onto Myeonbong, and that sort of forces that immortality field, and this could be scary. I wonder what Mano was looking for there.
It's hard. I mean, they have double shield, right? The Orisa shield is up almost all the time.
Oh!
Shatters around the shield.
He got Swimmer.
But still, with that amp matrix, not able to follow up.
Maywall on the point, but Boston moved up. Mano's gone down, I guess, punished for that sort of attempt at going for a shatter. Hotbar frozen, can't do anything to mitigate the endothermic blasters. Saebyeolbe able to find Munchkin, but has to play safe for the time being. Just from the high ground, and I really don't think there's much here for him to do. Myeonbong looking, here's the halt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to make anything happen here
try.
for New York. I'd be shocked. Mano goes charging off the top. I mean, kind of have an idea what they think about trying to contest the point at that moment. Once you see him pull the reinforced charge off the top rope,
hey, go off, dead. King. I'm good for it.
Yeah. So now it'll be Boston with a good first point take. You ended up building up that Deadeye on a ColorHex really early on. In turn, you end up giving JJoNak the nano boost, but still it forces Mano into a really awkward position. He's got a weak shield. When the Deadeye is out, he has to go in by the spawn point here of where Boston's spawning up now, and just allows them to put some extra damage on the players on the point.
Now, Boston, how do they ration these ultimates here? What do you think a win condition is for this fight? Is it trying to look for shatter, I guess? There it is. Who are you? Mano knocked down in this fight. Over pretty much before it begins.
Yeah, 3-player shatter there from Axiom. You end up using the supercharger as well. So you're going to keep the cart rolling for Boston in a very important part of the map. We see a lot of teams like to push up towards that initial choke, get some pressure, get some defensive stands at that point, but Boston doesn't allow it. They combo 2 ultimates here, get the cart moving. Now they're going to be aggressive and try and take this high ground.
Maybe looking for a Deadeye to play from this area, force the New York XL to try and play through the choke, give ColorHex a good angle. Oh, and Matrix as well. That is despicable.
Just buying time.
Timing a little bit off there. Hopper didn't actually eat the halt, so someone could have been drawn out into line of sight for Deadeye. That payload, by the way, is contested.
You don't want to play on the payload here if you're Boston. You're going to walk straight into a Blizzard. They go down with a Blizzard of their own, trying to get a pick off the start.
Mano trying to back away. You got nano boosted here. Fusions is down. It's a 1-for-1 trade, though. And ColorHex has the high ground he was looking for. I'm not going to make that Star Wars reference again. It went really badly last time. Animo. Oh, ColorHex.
All right.
Him. Saebyeolbe's able to respond, though, and find that 1-4. NYXL have a chance to keep this going. Myeonbong finds a couple here.
You may be able to
keep the
get
pressure
this going if you're Boston. Yeah, you're going to have Axiom come back in on Wrecking Ball. It's just Hoppa and 2 supports here, but New York's spawn is so close.
Oh, JJoNak wasn't able to get the sleep before the power driver came in, so he lost air control. Mano trying to hold down the fort, but that's an immortality field quickly removed. Saebyeolbe's Deadeye shreds a bit of health off Axiom, and he's not able to roll away. The NYXL finally recover here. Saebyeolbe's on cleanup duty.
And now does Axiom have to switch off of this? Is Saebyeolbe cleaning up Color Hex with the headshot there at the end, as Axiom will go back to Reinhardt, so more of the double shield composition for Boston. Who are you? Back over to me. This will be another difficult point of the map to get the cart over the line to get that second checkpoint. Mei in this close quarter area, that's why you see them keep accessing the high ground. They don't want to play under that bridge with that Mei.
Saebyeolbe doesn't want to give it up to Color Hex and let the McCree just sort of rain from above. And Deadeye again, second in a row to Color Hex. Can't find much from the wall, gives New York enough time to get
Honestly,
away.
though, you don't really want to give up the high ground a lot, but if you're New York here, you don't mind it. I mean, look at how many areas there are on this map for them to hide from the pressure from the high ground, which then just forces Boston down to the low ground, which is exactly what they want, to play around the Mei more.
You have the Diva anyway, as NYXL, you can mess with the McCree, and oh dear, someone's in trouble. Axiom gets caught up with the rest of his team. Mano tries to finish him off with the Fire Strike, but Fusion steps up, tries to save Axiom with that fortify. Mano has to respect the damage there. Boston, 1 minute left. They're regrouping here, they're going to go for a fight, but Color Hex, he reveals himself to Flash, who are you, and gets his head taken off as a result. Wall up, Boston wants some privacy.
And Boston's not going to get a full reset here. They keep extending this, and players coming back from the spawn.
Color Hex switches to Widow.
Yeah, you were even for a little bit in terms of the players up, but New York just spawned so much closer. That is a silly cross-map JJoNak on the Munchkin. So you have to wait for him to get up, but Color Hex on the Widowmaker. This tells you they know this is final fight territory. They just need a pick at the start.
Again,
Hotba's tracking him though.
Hotba will chase him to the ends of the earth. Color Hex playing. This is a very passive angle. He doesn't have exactly many sight lines, but it's safer. Who are you taken down by? Munchkin. Here's a Deadeye. Everybody on Boston just backing up. Saebyeolbe will hold this for as long as he has to and buy some more time. They need Who Are You back in the fight. He won't be taxied in though. Animo does not have the bandwidth to bring him back here.
Hotba does have a self-destruct and he's behind the enemy right now. Let's see if it comes in big.
8 seconds to the skies goes Hotba, looking for a bomb. It's good. They'll get Axiom. That's one shield taken out of the mix, and Saebyeolbe gets rid of Munchkin. Who are you standing tall on the payload? And just like that, the NYXL snatched the point away.
But Boston is able to make some progress, right? They capture that first point. They almost make it to checkpoint B. But New York's defense, very strong at that moment of the map. You know, they never got in a situation where Boston had like a 2-player advantage. Really, the only time was when they had both supports on the point and they were waiting for Axiom to come back on the wrecking ball. But take a look from Saebyeolbe's perspective at the end. This has to be fun to see for the NYXL fans.
Listen, I know Orisa looks like a horse, Saebyeolbe. You cannot ride it. All right, we're gonna be back with a little bit more Blizzard World right after the break. We're in New York. We're focusing on the here and now, man. I got my Lion shirt on. I'm ready to roll.
And New York is looking great. They're able to stop Boston from completing that second checkpoint.
Hopper's like,
on their
man,
offense.
Haven't got enough multi-kill bombs yet today.
You know, it's Hotba, we've talked a little bit about him, right? A lot of talk in the offseason. You know, Mecco leaves this NYXL squad, goes to the Houston Outlaws, and they bring in Hotba from, you know, former Philly Fusion player, right? In season 1, last year with the Guangzhou Charge. I think he's fit in great. I think Hotba gives them some flexibility a little bit later in the season. Let's say the meta starts changing, he can play so many different heroes.
How does things shift to the defense for Boston Uprising? I wonder if we see much of a change. Doesn't seem to be the case. They do fancy this Orisa Reinhardt combo. I talked to Ben Best earlier and I said, hey, like, you guys are fancying this double main tank setup. Is it just because, you know, Smex is in here, or you know, you feel like this is better? NYXL leveraging Hopper much more in the Diva role. So we are seeing some different styles from these teams, not just one composition that everyone's going to. Also, Myeongbong playing a lot of Batiste, which we haven't seen a ton of.
No, we've seen a lot of Ana in that Batiste role. So on offense for New York, it looks like pretty much the standard what we've seen from them so far, right? Reinhardt with the Diva, McCree and Mei. You have JJoNak on the Ana and Animo on the Lucy on the back, and really it's going to be Boston on defense playing that turtle, you know, really sheltering up behind both of these shields.
A lot of damage early on that shield. It is the highest durability shield in the game. Still got chunked on down. New York is still able to approach though. Mano will try and use those boxes to break line of sight to prolong the shield even more. New York splitting a bit, so just around the backside there is actually Animo and watchpoint trying to get a flank going on, but Mano always prefers the direct approach map. Fire strike, both walls down.
So Hoppo Izuni who's trying to get up onto the high ground with Animo to knock any players off there, kind of deter them from taking that angle. And Hoppo's just holding that down. Up on that high ground, he's able to actually look down with the defense matrix and block some of that damage coming in from Mano anyway. So good positioning.
Actually, I like it. Animo pinned down and without utility of the speed, NYXL decided to want to commit to this fight. Even though they can't really charge up. Shadow, nice. Munchkin taken down, Swimmer also stunned up, and that will probably be enough.
That is going to be a fast first point take here for the NYXL. Good shadow from Mano, but Hoppa's positioning, able to get up onto that high ground, not allow anybody to get up there again. You know, Color Hex trying to access it again with Swimmer and not able to just get that D.Va out of the way. D.Va has such a large HP pool, a defense matrix, good offensive capabilities, so can't exactly challenge her one-on-one.
Oh, I like this, trying to catch the Uprising as they rotate. He's going to split them up to get Axiom as well to trade though. Mano down. Saebyeolbe wants to push forward now, and NYXL just want to try and overwhelm. Immortality Field did help, but it is destroyed, and okay.
The card's not moving at all, yeah.
Swimmer v JJoNak. Swimmer in his debut, JJoNak. Ah, come on.
Like on the MVP, dog.
On the man.
Oh, you know what though?
I like some audacity.
Oh, God. Swimmer dies there, but still, it's actually pretty nice to just deter the card from moving that much. I mean, think about how much payload progress NYXL would have gotten if he doesn't buy them that much time there. I mean, the payload would be almost over here by the bridge, approaching the end game.
Supercharger down, wall up. This will allow NYXL just to drop down. You have a self-destructing of a hot fire, and if the Uprising are on the high ground, it may force them to drop. And Orisa shield only works one direction. Okay, Hopper will move here and let the rest of NYXL go to the high ground. This has been spotted though by Boston, who have plenty of ultimates.
They let that supercharger way down, so Fusions doesn't get anything with the supercharger. The Orisa ultimate, no real angle to use a shatter here. It's gonna have to drop down maybe behind this Deadeye. Beautiful Maywall there from Who Are You?
Yeah, a Maywall though under Color Hex from Munchkin to get him above it. I like it. Munchkin now drops to the low ground here. They're trying to get rid of Mano, but he's trying to do as much damage as he can before he's dispatched. Hotman's back to the high ground. Color Hex has been removed and Munchkin was knocked down. Immortality Field won't save the Uprising. New York just flipped the switch and they are so close to the goal, Matt. And that'll be it. Boston get wiped off the map there. As much as they tried to play cagey, play safe, NYXL forced them to the low ground and hit him with a haymaker.
That is a fast map for NYXL. With that map coming up, maybe you want to play some Widowmaker, maybe Nene is the guy here to bring in, play that role. He can also play McCree, can play Reaper, right, if you're going to go towards that point B on attack. So you see the first 2 points. I know Oasis was relatively competitive. I know Uprising did get a good portion of percentage on both of those points, but New York's able to flip it. Blizzard World was a little bit of a different story. Boston was good on their offense early. New York, once they held on defense, they got so much momentum. Their offense was fairly easy to push the payload the distance.
When we've talked about New York over the last couple of years, yes, the game has changed, right? We've seen different meta games, different compositions, but they've always seemed like they wanted to play a bit safer, a bit more defensive, right? This is the kind of map that's going to lend itself to that kind of approach. Boston, I feel like, have tried to emulate them on multiple occasions, but one thing I really liked from Boston on this map last year was how they rotated and they used fusions to try and flank people as they push on the attacking side.
You know, we've talked about that type of NYXL where they're, you know, a little bit more reactive instead of the aggressive team. But I think with a lot of the additions that they've made throughout, I know even like last year in the offseason, now this year, you know, even refining the roster, definitely helped them be a little bit more proactive on the map, a little bit more aggressive, right? Hotba, not as safe as a player like Meko, right? He's gonna play a little bit more aggressive. You bring in Who Are You, who can be very strong, like a Genji player, Doomfist player when needed, be very aggressive in that role. And then I think you can also still play that old New York style, you know, the tried and true, a little bit slower. So I think just making themselves a little bit more of a well-rounded team with these additions. On offense, Color Hex gonna be playing the Hanzo. Hanzo really good at bursting down these shields, long range, medium to long range pickoffs. You don't see a Widowmaker on the other side. You're pretty safe to play the Hanzo here in answer to McCree.
Yeah, but New York have only been playing with one shield so far, so Colorhex will be looking for some picks as well. Try and work Mano down or get around him as much as possible. Swimmer just dives in here, perhaps hoping to knock some New York players off this high ground, and he's done just that. New York will probably have to cede this territory over to Boston now. Boston have a chance to set up, but much depends on the Hanzo, and if Colorhex can't find those opening picks, Boston don't get anywhere.
Now Boston's going to be trapped for a little bit. We'll see what they decide to do, how they get out of this situation. How they get out of it, maybe by going all the way back to the spawn. And then his Peacekeepers, he's able to take out 2. You know, if you're Boston, right, you want to push through that choke, you want to get control of that bridge, allow the Hanzo to start getting some pickoffs, buy him some space, but you have Hotpub playing up on the high ground. He actually goes over towards those windows over by the Mega Health Pack, plays up in the high ground, just being a nuisance. It's very difficult to hold the break.
That wall's designed to allow Boston to get into position without taking too much poke damage, but New York don't want to give them this space, man. Look at them push them. Colorhex is in no position to find picks right now because Hotbar is hot on his heels. Despite this, though, Axim and Munchkin gets dumped. Ah, you're kidding me, that could be filthy. The shields were ready, though. New York didn't have enough players to distract Boston's attention away from the big old bomb.
That one's a little bit of a Hail Mary, but you throw it in there, 2 shields and made. Not really a great shot. JJoNak in an odd position here. Is he gonna be able to live through this? Say 2, they keep alive with a sound barrier.
Immortality field here from Yunbong as Boston are caught off guard a little bit by this. Hotbar is gonna get desuited and taken down. How much time can New York buy now? Nene's looking for a little bit, but the shield was in the way. He may have taken it very low, but he needs to find kills, and so far the healing for Boston has been good enough to keep them up.
Boston should be able to take this point. I mean, you just have Mano alive, and Animo is where the Hanzo becomes pretty effective, right? Bursting large HP targets down, the one-shots at like that medium to long range. See what New York decides to do. I don't think they're going to come back and contest this. They have a lot of players that are very far away, but Hotba making his way towards the point. They may want to fight this with the switch over to Tracer as well.
Oh,
they may try and force another fight at least.
They're going to have a go. Amplification Matrix is thrown down. Mano hits the ground. Hits pretty hard, to be honest. Boston was already prepared to deal with him. Hotbar also a little low. It's a matter of buying a little bit of extra time, but not really sure what for, because there are no more real reinforcements to come in, and that Earth Shatter only on a Hotbar. It looked like Boston were reluctant to follow up on just to the single Diva. And we'll see if New York can force some more ultimates out of Boston as they try and capture this point. Now they're playing a dangerous game.
So this is going to be the Boston take now. So New York gets back in, stalls out a little bit more.
Okay, bro. Now you asked for it.
I mean, that's,
he's waving to the crowd.
That's to be expected. But hey, if you're going to get booed, you may as well get booed a lot. What's the difference between being booed a little bit and booed a lot? At least have some fun with it.
I mean, there are a few key differences, but we won't have time to go over them. Dragon Strike for Colorhex here. Wants to try and get New York grouped on the point. Crowd are furious.
Yeah, the crowd now is displaying what they think about Boston as a team. It's a Colorhex, though. May not like him, but he takes out Hoppa and Nene.
He is showing up now. He loves it. Colorhex living to be the villain. Boston get one tick here on the point. Who are you? He tried to go for a Blizzard. I think he lost it. He must have been taken down before he could release it. And that is really bad for New York. That was the ultimate they needed on this fight. Who are you has to switch to the Doomfist now, which might be a bit of a change of pace for them, but so far New York trickling in one by one and finding very little for their troubles. That's a self-destruct. Hotbar can't find anything, and who are you shut down? Colorhex. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually gross. Colorhex is dominating on this Hanzo.
Yeah, but you know what, though? JJoNak had rotated all the way around to the choke. Now they finally know where he is. Doesn't matter, though.
The retake is there. That shouldn't have happened at all.
Well, JJoNak, for what felt like, you know, seeing on the map, maybe like 30 seconds, is playing from the offensive choke, just healing the players as they come out. Big biotic grenade, sleeps onto the point, and they were not able to make any progress, Boston. They get 2 ticks, but towards the end, right, the progress had stalled out. They were not able to complete the map.
Matt, Colorhex is no longer waving at the crowd. I think he's getting a bit serious now. 1 minute 40 left in the round. There's an Earth Shatter here. Munchkin, he got Blizzard. He's out of the picture already. Axiom just has to run away. There's no chance for Boston now in this fight. Mano very aggressive, but he's looking to get value out of the nano boost and build another Earth Shatter if he can. And this is a full-scale rout.
You know what it is. Colorhex picking up some kills, having some fun. The rest of his teammates are looking at him like, see what you started, man? Why'd you do that? But NYXL, they don't have any ultimates here coming in the fight, Mitch. I mean, Amp Matrix, Sound Barrier, Shatter, Blizzard, really good chance for Boston to get that final tick.
Matt, you feel like if Boston want to stay in the series, it has to be here, but they turn it up to 11. They start with the Amplification Matrix, but an Ice Wall will block that for the most part. So they'll have to wait. JJoNak, that's a big bite of grenade, Matt, onto 4 players. Immortality Field, though, had to be there by Myunbom. Earth Shatter, no real connection at all. The Ice Block immediately used by Who Are You, but they've lost JJoNak. A lot of their healing, and there's a lot of their utility. Crowd control now is going to be missing. Remember, just the 1 tick, that's all that Boston needed to get this one done, and they do! They snatched it away from New York. And 2 checkpoints is going to make a big difference for them as this game continues.
The Hotba went to go touch, and Swimmer boops him off the point. Then Animo not able to make it back on. That's how Boston's able to get that second checkpoint. Finish with 27 seconds in the time bank.
Oh, we see you, Boston fan. All right, we'll be back with a little bit more Temple of Anubis and see if Boston can hang in there right after this. Or maybe will this guy make it out alive? I don't know yet.
For Boston in the time bank. So, see when New York decides to go with.
They're going to go with this? No.
They ran this on Horizon Lunar Colony the other day.
Oh, man.
See if they decide to incorporate the Brig in play as dive with a Brig. Really the only reason here. I mean, you could like preemptively armor pack the Genji, make him stronger, but
let's go!
I really think that's worthwhile. Animo, play Mercy. So the Mercy here can be used, obviously, to fly in, good mobility, get from character to character, as all the damage dealers and tanks have high mobility. The res, and then also really good pocket to keep the Ana alive. If you want to let the Ana just be the one who provides all of the healing, can just kind of sit back. If the dive comes in, pressure on the Ana, you're able to just keep her alive with the Mercy.
Who are you staying out of sight for now, so he may be able to pop up and surprise. Looking for Myunbom on the high ground, towards Colorhex perhaps. Sliced and diced.
Well, hey, Mitch, who can get up there and help Colorhex for Boston? Oh, wait, nobody. You have 2 static tanks just playing on the bridge. Hey, that's fine. Guess what? We'll just go around you. It's exactly what New York does, and New York just picking apart Boston.
Oh, man. We are in the Big Apple, but Boston, they're just getting hit by rotten tomatoes right now. And shurikens. And look at this, New York making a very quick rotation to point B. They will be amongst Boston as soon as they catch a point A. This is that level of dominance they're looking for.
And big winning condition ultimates for New York. I mean, Nano Blade, right? Really difficult to win a fight when a Nano Blade comes through for a team. EMP as well. All these ultimates gonna come on really quickly. Which could end up for a very fast point B take here for NYXL.
Hotba trolling JJoNak, refusing to let him heal him. And he'll sit back and deliver the nano boost when it needs to happen. Safe positioning, JJoNak. Oh, he gets dumped upon Colorhex. Oh, very cheeky. No, no! What?
Oh, that's a yikes.
The 1v1. One does not simply challenge the Octopus King. And who you brought out his blade, but Boston were already beaten, battered and bruised by the time he got there. One man brought down a team. And now they're gonna have to stall things out.
You got a Blizzard here for Boston.
Nope.
Well, no, not anymore.
No chance. Who are you? Had him put that one away real quick now, looking to sit behind a supercharger and just gonna pressure fusions down. There's little he can do but sit behind that shield. Colorhex just to pick on the Genji, but the numbers still favor New York, and that's the res. It's for JJoNak, the VIP, back in the mix. What a massacre!
That's a lot of time left for New York to not a lot of time for Boston. That is going to be 5 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock for the NYXL. Boston, they'll have a minute to make something happen. Let's take a look at this replay here. JJoNak knew Color Hex was around, the biotic grenade on around. Good healing, though, that comes in from Mano. I talked about it a little bit earlier. He's in Valkyrie, right? He's flying up in the sky, able to pocket the Ana. Make sure the Ana lives through that. JJoNak, the shot's accurate enough. We already know what he can do to finish off Color Hex.
Over from Color Hex, he does take Wraith form as the Sleep Dart comes out. City of New York greets their king once more.
It's been a while since New York Sports had MVP. Sorry, guys, sorry. Hey, I'm a fan as well. I'm a fan as well. It's tough out here sometimes. I am.
I don't know if he is, guys. I always thought he was a fake New Yorker. Fake New Yorker.
At least you know it's a New York crowd. They live in Boo New Yorkers, right? So
just make sure you aim your rotten tomatoes that way. 5 minutes on the clock for New York. No rocket scientist, but that is a lot of time.
Boston really has, like, what, 2 good attempts at this, right? Depending on how fast they go. They got caught up in this area with the Mega Health Pack last time. Let's see how they try and break out of it a little bit faster.
Ice Wall comes up. Color Hex looking for the match against JJoNak 2, Electric Boogaloo. I don't think he fancies any of that.
This time you go with the McCree, so a little bit easier to pressure some players when they get close.
Oh
but
my!
Doesn't matter, Nene with first blood.
I mean, Hotbutt gave him a proper tickle as he did a drive-by on the high ground with the rocket boosters. He was already quite low. Axiom, clever, aims his shield upwards. He knew the flash was coming. Who are you got caught out of position there? Frozen up by Munchkin. 7 seconds left. New York want to buy some time. Boston can't afford them that luxury. Big biotic grenade on Axiom infusions, but Color Hex was still able to find Nene. He's in a safe spot. This is exactly where you want to be as an attacking Widow. With heads turned away, but Color Hex can't find the kills. He gets Mano, but he was already frozen solid. Pressured down now. He can't get away with a grappling hook. 10 seconds, Color Hex hurtling towards the point, but there was no hope, no chance. And New York plant the flag and their feet.
New York can smell a win here. Got to get 1 tick on the point in 5 minutes. Take a look from Mano's POV. Ends up getting one, and then the shatter is actually big because all of the Baptiste healing that's coming down from Milmo through the Amp Matrix. Not able to do that, obviously, when he's stunned on the ground. The Blizzard comes down a hair too late there. The damage is already done. If you're Boston, what do? All you've come out with here is double shield, right? You play the double shield with the Hanzo again. The Hanzo plays further away. The dive could be what New York goes with to break it open just like last time. So,
I mean, they have so much time to work with, Matt, and all you really need is one half-decent dive.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? I mean, New York has such a big advantage here. They can see what Boston's running, go back, make the proper adjustments, and have multiple fights to make it work.
So, Color Hex cannot play on the high ground on his own now. Technically, Myeongbong could join him with the Exo boots, right? You mentioned who's going to help him out. I mean, that's not really what Boston want to have to do. They want to actually take advantage of his AoE healing and not use it all on a single target. So keep an eye on where Color Hex sets up, because he best be respected after that.
It's difficult to keep any of these squishy targets alive when a dive comes in with a Winston, Diva, Genji. So,
is this enough healing for Boston in general? Like, do you think I'm going to get dived? Do you go with this? Or are they just trying to play for that immortality?
Yeah, it's really the immortality build, right?
Oh.
When you can't die, you're obviously able to heal everybody up during that.
And then they're using the goodest boy as a jumping point.
All right. Just scouting for a target.
Wow, deja vu. Okay, this time, very quickly, Boston dropped to that low ground, and Mano actually gets caught out there. Munchkin's able to finish him. But who I use behind enemy lines?
This also allows JJoNak to, like, poke from the middle, and he's actually right through the sleep dart at range here on a swimmer. I don't think they're going to be able to finish him off, though.
And who are you just wants to poke at medium to longer range with shurikens right now until there's a chance to get a guaranteed kill and a potential reset on his dash. Mano again goes in. Munchkin a little bit low. Who are you just want to hang around here for too long? No, careful. The immortality field had to be used, and Myeongbong still goes down. New York playing safe, wants to get rid of Color Hex. The Hanzo can still ruin their plans. No, not going to be a chance for that. Hotba's able to chase him down. Bionic Grenade thrown at the point. That's on Axiom here. New York need a little bit of time to get Hotba back in shape, but Who Are You is here. Swinging the shurikens, doesn't need the blade. He'll take the damage reduction quite happily. Who am I? He says no. Who are you?